Social Development Minister Lindiwe Zulu says there's been a decrease in the number of people receiving the 350 social relief of distress grants. Responding to questions in Parliament, Zulu said the decrease has seen the implementation of the amended regulations, and that seems to be the reason behind this decrease. Joining us now to tell us more about what could be the other reasons is Paseka Letsatsi, who is the spokesperson for SASSA. Paseka, I thank you for making time this afternoon. What exactly is behind this decrease in the number of beneficiaries receiving this 350 social relief grant?
Good afternoon, Clement, and thanks for having me. Basically, we were using, at the exception of the 350 grant, we were using the state of the nation disaster to disburse the 350. However, it came to an end early this year in March. We had to use the Social Assistance Act. And when we implemented the Social Assistance Act, there are certain things which we need to comply with. In this instance, we need to make sure that we do the means test. The means test, we need to make sure that whoever that gets the 350 does not double dip, or they are not getting any other form of income whatsoever. And I think we then realized that early this year, when we changed from the old legislation to the Social Assistance Act, we found that one, certain people did not apply. Secondly, we also have a problem of people making an application, however, failing to upload the proper banking details. Thirdly, we also found out that there are people who give us the details, like, for example, there are problems of IDs and so forth. So we had to make sure that we communicate with them. But by and large of it, that some of bulk of people did not make the reapplication, and some of them, basically, when we do the mistest, we find that there is an amount of money which is coming into their account.
All right. So what has the number decreased by month on month? My recollection is that when the grant was first rolled out, there were an estimated, 10 million beneficiaries. So when you look at the numbers month on month, what are we looking at in terms of that decrease?
No, you're quite right, Clement. I think basically now we are between 7 million and 7.5 approval rates. Others obviously get rejected. And I think what we want to emphasize so that people understand how we operate. One, we just want to emphasize the fact that they've got the rights to appeal if they are declined, and they are thinking that the reasons which are advanced to them are not genuine. But secondly, we have a situation where when people apply, or there's any flow of amount of money in your account, including cash sent, Clement, if you get money from somebody using the mobile money, we are bound to make sure that treat that as an income, and if you get declined, it does it. But obviously, when you are declined for this month, it does not mean for the next month it will be declined, because we have to do the mistakes from one month to the other. So you are not prejudiced, or you are not rejected by the system because one month there's money which was flowing into your account.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if there's a way that even in the application of that means test, you do it in a way that still doesn't leave other people on the fringes, because there seems to be a big difference between the number of applications and the number of beneficiaries throughout the months. For instance, in April, when I'm looking at the figures, you had about 8.1 million applications, but you approved about 4.7 million of those. And in June, from the 11.3 million who applied, only about 6.8 million were approved. That seems to be a big margin.
It is a big margin, and I think we had a meeting this morning to iron out some of the things. One, we thought it's important to make sure that we upscale our beneficiary education campaign, so that we don't necessarily use this means of communication to interact with our beneficiaries, in the sense that we were saying, yes, we may use the mainstream media to interact with beneficiaries, but we need to make sure that we use others. In this instance, we need to make sure that we consult the traditional leaders, we go to the councillors, we go to the schools. We try as possible to make sure that we reach out to as many people as possible, because if we don't do that, we might find that the information get lost in the process. Hence, we are agreed that we need to make sure that we communicate. But what we also want to emphasize, Clement, is that people must know that if they are rejected, they've got the right to make an appeal. But we also want to emphasize, secondly, Clement, if we say income or whatever money that flows into your account, it doesn't mean that you have to work, but you might find that you got 3,000 rand this month and from your uncle, or you got 3,000 rand from whoever in the family to go and buy yourself groceries. So those are some of the things which we check. And at the point of application, people sign a consent form that we need to check if they are getting any funds outside what we are giving to them.
And how do people make that appeal process? How do they initiate that? How long does it normally take?
It basically goes every month. They go through the same platform which they have applied and click on the appeal, and it prompts them the same way they applied, but obviously they would have to go through an appeal process. And we do that particular assessment to make sure that if people complain. But one other thing that we need to emphasize, Clement, in this instance, and I think I want to speak as slow as possible, if you are rejected because the system says you got an amount of money from one other government institution, in this instance, I'll make an example of UIF, for example. You appear on the UIF database. Please do not appeal to us before you go to UIF and resolve the matter with the UIF so that they remove you from their system. Because if you are there in their system and you make an appeal, the SASSA system will basically reject you because that information is still there. So please, before you make an appeal, try to resolve the matter with the UIF, or you can resolve it with NSFAS, you can resolve it with whatever agency where you are appearing to be benefiting.
Let's talk about the application system now. Is it still effective? There have been some challenges in the past, and I'm sure you don't want to have a large number of people who qualify who are excluded. After all, you have that legal duty to assist those who do not have access to that basic income.
I can give you a sense of comfort, Clement. Me and you would not discuss the glitches which we experienced when we started the system. The system is a well-oiled machine. We are moving very smoothly to make sure that even if there was a backlog, because there are people who were complaining at some point that they were approved and they were not paid, we had to make sure that when we go into November, we're not going to be dealing with the backlogs. But the system is such that it's very good. But sorry for that. But even people who are making an application, at least the information was sent properly to them that they do not necessarily have to upload images. In this instance, Clement, you find that a person, when they're supposed to put an ID. When we started with the 350 administration of administering the 350, people will upload an ID in terms of the images. But now people know that you just have to put your ID number. You don't have to put images. So at least the system is moving very smoothly. But what we need to do is to make sure that there is an interaction between SASSA and communities. And we need to make sure that we reach out to as many people as possible, because we need to make sure that the information filters down and people understand processes which they need to follow for them to qualify for this.
All right. Paseka Letsatsi, SASSA spokesperson, thank you for making time.